Hey there, guys. TAF108 here.
And Victory.
For once.
Calm down. Speak that lower.
No, can't do that. Anyway, it's good to see you guys again. And as promised, I'm going to be finishing my video about Saiyajins. First, we talked about why the ones in Universe 7 were so weak. Then we talked about Super Saiyan 3 being the limit.
I remember that random email I got that one day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, as you guys who saw that video know, Toei kind of cucked me and I couldn't use the footage because there's no way I was going to let them get that copyright. I mean, they kind of got it already, but I deleted that video, so it no longer exists.
So what happened was I was sitting around, don't even remember what I was doing, probably nothing important, and my phone vibrates. I'm like, what's going on? And I see, you had an email from YouTube. I'm like, copyright strike, Super Saiyan 3. So I sent Leandre a message going like, my guy, what happened? He's like, haven't even uploaded the video yet. Take a look. And it's there. He's still editing it. He's still working on it. I'm like, don't put it up.
Yeah.
Just don't even worry about it.
I just removed it. I just took the part out, as you guys who watch the video know. Yeah, it's really awkward because I had already recorded my reaction to it, so it's as if it happened, but no, it's I had to take it out. But that's neither here nor there.
Toei hates us.
Yeah, screw those guys. Anyway, it's probably because we call it the VS. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, I want to get on with the video. So like I said, first I talked about why Universe 7 Saiyans were so weak. Then I talked about Super Saiyan 3 being the limit to what the Saiyan body can do on its own. And now we're going to talk about the Universe 6 Saiyans. Well, not really. We're going to talk about Caulifla and Kale. Because my nigga Kafla has nothing to do with this.
You are super biased.
Hey, I'm just biased to the one that's actually a worthwhile character.
Okay.
So that being said, we're going to talk about why Caulifla and Kale are not my man Kale.
Well, first of all, they don't have penises.
Oh yeah, there's that. And the fact that Kava was both transformations.
Nope, wait, let me fix it. One baby a Fuda.
Rip. Anyway, to my point, the reason Kava is not going to be considered for this video is because both of his transformations would be what I consider legitimate. The first one, he transformed because Vegeta was threatening his home planet, threatening to quite literally destroy it while beating him brutally, so I think that's a sufficient reason to transform. The second time, a little less, it was just him being beaten while Vegeta was being insulted and Caulifla and Kale were being threatened, so you can see where rage would happen there, but I do have a few problems with that.
My boy wants to smash.
Rip.
My boy wants to smash, let's be real.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, I mean, if you hop on any Dragon Ball fan art sites, you definitely see that vibe there. Without a doubt. I'm glad you're doing that right now.
I know, right?
Anyway, so yeah,
I need my snacks.
Kava is exempt from this because while maybe it's not the most well executed of transformations, they at least put in effort to keep in line with what was shown and what we've seen in the series prior to this, which is Dragon Ball Z. So I think that legitimizes Kava's transformations. Now, people could talk about how strong Kava is or how weak he is, but that's not really the point of this video. The point is we're going to explain why Caulifla and Kale's powers are entirely unjustified, including the fusion Kafla. And yes, I'll be referring to her as Kafla because that's what her name would be if they don't do that weird English-Japanese translation like they do with Vegito's name. But I don't want to get into that here. That's something that really messes me up.
What's this translation for Vegito then?
Alright, well, they translate it as Vegito, which is V-E-G-I-T-O. But it's supposed to be the merger of the names Vegeta and Kakaroto. So that's why in Japanese it's B-E-J-I-T-T-O. Because it's Vegeta and Kakaroto. But in English, it's Vegeta and Kakarot. That's why the Viz translation sometimes translates as Vegerot, because we're keeping with the dub changed names.
What the hell is going on? What the?
Well, Toei doesn't do that. And so it'd be the same thing with Kafla. See, in Japanese, her name is Kefura, because it's Keru. because
what is that again?
No, because it's Keru and Kefura. Anyway, you guys get my point. Basically, their names, they go through the same weird name changing process that Vegito did.
Basically, they go through shipping names.
Which is an unfortunate fact of life. Anyway, next we're just going to address that, yes, we know Caulifla and Kale are characters that are being written, and as such, we can't really blame them for their actions because they're being written. But in the same manner, they're being written that way, and so that's what the characters are. So until the manga can deliver what I imagine will probably be a superior version of these characters, this is all we got, and I don't like it.
Yeah, hold on, I'll be right back in a second. Keep talking.
Oh, well, I guess I'm going to keep talking then. So, anyway, we're going to debunk every attempt to legitimize this crappy writing as done by Toei. Alright? I'm not even pinning this on Toriyama. I'm sure his notes probably said they transform into Super Saiyajins. If the chain link back thing is in the manga, I would be mildly triggered, I'm not going to lie. Just like the Zeno thing. Zeno destroying feature, I mean.
I thought you were going to say Zeno's existence, because I know you hate Zeno.
Well, yeah, his existence is a mockery of the franchise as well, but that's something else entirely. Anyway, so I've spent a few weeks gathering every argument I could find in favor of Caulifla and Kale that is even moderately legitimate, and we will have to include Kafla now. We didn't when we originally wrote the script for this video, but she exists now, so we have to address
her. Okay.
Alright, now, to start, we're gonna let this guy, who was being shared a lot after the Tinley backfilling thing happened. His video was popular. I saw it in all the Dragon Ball circles I forward. So we're going to let him talk about evolution and crap for a few minutes, and then we're going to come back, debunk his argument, then move on and debunk others.
Alright.
So we'll catch you guys in a second.
Universe 7 and Universe 6 evolved completely differently. In Universe 6, they're from planet Sadal, or Sadala, whereas in Universe 7, they obviously lived on a completely different planet, planet Vegeta. Let's also not forget that in Universe 7, the Saiyans were enslaved by Frieza. And before they could even take off and really realize the potential, Frieza decided to eliminate them because Frieza noticed a trend. Saiyans were becoming stronger and stronger, and that's when Frieza was like, okay, gotta get rid of them all. That didn't happen in Universe 6. Again, they weren't enslaved. Yes, they're peaceful, so they may not be as violent, but they were still known as a warrior race. So being a warrior race and not being cut off by some galactic dickhead named Frieza, these Saiyans were allowed to just get stronger and stronger and stronger. But obviously, when it comes to ascending into a Super Saiyan, at least with Universe 7, something traumatic had to happen where you're just beyond rage and you hit that state. We'll get back to Goten and Trunks later. So it kind of makes sense that Universe 6 Saiyans got so powerful in their base forms, but they never broke through that ceiling of Super Saiyan due to the fact that they didn't have anything crazy going on with them obviously being in a peaceful universe. So try to think of it like this. Let's look at Goku right before he turned into a Super Saiyan, okay? Leading up to that, he had trained his base form extremely hard through 100 times gravity to reach a very strong point in his base form. But going through the trauma of seeing his best friend getting blown up, he ascended. Let's not forget, Super Saiyan is supposed to be a form of like rage. Alright, now really quick, we have to talk about Goten and Trunks. Because whether you like it or not, Goten and Trunks actually kind of help Caulifla and Kale's case in terms of their ascension into Super Saiyan. Although it isn't officially stated how each of them ascended into Super Saiyan, we do know that the world was in a state of peace, and there's no way that they went through anything nearly as traumatic as their fathers, Gohan, or future Trunks. Yet still, a 7 and an 8-year-old, possibly younger when they mastered it, ascended to Super Saiyan. We could search for eternity for a reason, but the fact remains, they did not require a traumatic experience in order to ascend to Super Saiyan. So if they could do it, why can't Caulifla and Kale? I mean, could Trunks and Goten really be an example? An example of evolution? How quickly the Saiyan race...
Now that was a whole lot of BS.
On both ends?
Indefinitely. So now we're going to talk about what he talked about. It's basically that, one, that they're from different planets, so that has something to do with it, and two, that they evolved differently. And so I'll just, debunk that very quickly. Alright, so first of all, the Saiyans in Universe 7 do come from Sadala. They just left the planet due to conflict that left the planet being destroyed. Vegeta explains this to Kaba in the manga when he meets him. They even wore the same clothes that Kaba wears when he wears in the tournament. When they still inhabit planet Sadala, so the only difference...
Does he mean the Frieza Force uniform?
Yeah, Toriyama didn't really go all out in trying to design armors, but that's the whole thing for another day. So basically, the gist of this point is that, because they're from different planets and they're from different universes, that there's a different standard to be set. The problem with this is that they're not from different planets; they're from the same planet. It just happens that in Universe 7, they ended up moving planets, and that the only difference there is that moving did not happen in Universe 6. And they're also not as aggressive in Universe 6, that much is pretty apparent from all their personalities. The only one who acts like an actual Saiyan would be Caulifla. That's doesn't really endear me to her character at all. That's a whole other thing. So basically, the fact that they're from Sadala doesn't really change anything because Universe 7 Saiyans are also from Sadala. They just moved the planet Vegeta. Next, the fact that they don't have tails, making them more evolved. Alright, so the line is simply that they evolved differently, i.e. they evolved to not have tails.
There was no need for tails.
Oh yeah, that's actually kind of the general theme. Unless you consider like the form you can get from tails, which is like Super Saiyan 4, but that's a whole other thing. So basically, they evolved to not have tails. That evolution doesn't mean that they're naturally stronger. There's nowhere is that said. Anyone taking this to mean that they're more evolved is just pulling things out of their ass.
You can say in that universe their tails are useless because they weren't as active in battle as combat, so they didn't need the power up as much. So that's why they stopped getting tails, because genetically there was no call for it. While in Universe 7, right?
Yeah, 7.
They kept their tails because they were in constant warfare and battle. Their tails were required for combat. They made sure that they could win any war, basically, unless they were all going up against Frieza.
That is another thing, yeah. It's entirely possible that there's not even a moon on Sadala. So if there's no moon to cause the transformation, it makes sense that they would evolve to no longer have the tails since they remained on that planet. Unlike in Universe 7, where they moved to planet Vegeta, which has a moon, which was very instrumental in them winning the war between them and the Tuscaroogans, or Tuffles. So,
oh yeah, that is a thing.
Yeah.
Carry on.
So yeah, that's basically it. There's no correlation between their evolution and them having more potential. This is never stated. The only Universe 6 Saiyan state that have high potential is Caulifla, and she just assumes that Kale has high potential for no apparent reason.
Because she's Broly. I mean, because she's an original character.
But I mean, we'll get into that more when we talk about their actual characters. Though we may not talk about it too much because there are tons of videos talking about how they're Mary Sue-ish and blah 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 that you can look up, and that I've watched myself, and I think they're freaking hilarious. So you can find those on your own time. But for now, we've talked about evolution.
He hasn't said he agrees with them. He says he finds them really funny.
So we've talked about evolution a bit. So now let's talk about one of Darwin's key principles of evolution.
Oh, natural selection. My favorite thing in the entire world. Like, I get into arguments with people about this all the time. I feel like natural selection would be more prominent in our society. We'd have a lot less stupid people in our society then. Like, the kid walks out.
Well, what if the stupid people are more fit to survive? Then we'll have more stupid people.
Well, that means we weren't fit to survive. If the stupid person walks out into the middle of the street...
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Hear me out.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying that in that scenario, you're assuming that stupid people will be who die, but that's not necessarily true.
Here's my logic. If the stupid person walks out into the middle of the street and gets hit by a car, we shouldn't save them. If it happens to a kid, we shouldn't save them because, like, we told the kid, hey, look both ways. Don't walk into the street when there's a car. Or, better yet, just don't be stupid. But they get hit, natural selection took its course. 180 out of the gene pool. I'm getting off topic. Anyways.
This is why you gotta pay for your healthcare, kids.
So.
No one's entitled to life.
So, my argument for Goku and Vegeta being super strong, even though they have tails, is that they were the only survivors of the Saiyan race. Natural selection took its course. Nappa died, he was too weak. Raditz died, he was too weak. The planet died, they were too weak.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because Vegeta himself doesn't feel bad about the Universe 7 Saiyans dying, and his reasoning is that they are weak and ergo deserve their fate.
Yeah, natural selection. Goku dies a lot. He kind of avoids the role because he keeps coming back to life. But he's also strong, and Toriyama likes killing him, so there's that.
Oh yeah, actually, it's kind of stated that he likes to have Goku lose, which I don't really agree with that. I mean, I think sure he should lose some fights, but like if you ever watch an episode of Dragon Ball Super, he kind of loses like all of the time.
I don't.
Yeah, if Victor doesn't watch it. I watch it just so I can keep up with the fandom.
Just so that way he can have a reason to say he doesn't like it and why it's bad. He doesn't want to say it without having watched the series himself.
Yeah, and you guys can...
Good on you.
You guys can check out my video, my message to Dragon Ball Super fans, to get like my in-depth reasoning behind all that. But basically, Goku takes a lot of L's, and that's kind of what I know Super Saiyan Blue for. It's the form that like takes L's. Because legitimately watch Super and tell me how many times Goku wins a fight. It's not very often.
What about that fight in Ultra Instinct that he didn't win? Unless you're counting the.
I guess he finally has a win under his belt. Actually, no, that win doesn't count for Blue. That's for Ultra Instinct. Yeah,
that's for a move he didn't. That's for Ultimate Gohan.
Yeah, before he ripped off. Anyway, we're getting pretty off topic here. So basically, what Victory was explaining just now was that because Goku and Vegeta were the most fit to survive in their universe, they naturally progressed to the height that they've reached, due to them being in these incredible scenarios. And Saiyans themselves were really well built for this kind of universe, a universe that preys on the weak and only the strong survive. And they're really suited for that. But the universe
is full of bitches.
Yeah, they're not like that at all. As far as we know, the only people who fight are the Planet Sadala Defense Force, and we're never even given any hint that the other Saiyans even like fighting. You use Kale as an example. He doesn't seem to enjoy fighting very much.
What a bitch. Fighting's awesome. I love fighting. Fighting's so fun.
He only really seems to enjoy it when he's doing it with Vegeta. He doesn't seem naturally aggressive like Goku Vegeta. He's not itching and looking for the next challenge. The only Universe 6 Saiyan that is doing this is Caulifla, and that's moderately irrelevant, as we'll get into later. So now that we've talked about evolution and natural selection, we'll talk
kind of briefly part about life is natural selection.
We'll talk kind of briefly about Goten and Trunks.
People are going to be so salty about the kid comment.
Rip. Anyway, so anyone who's been part of this fandom has heard the excuse, "Hey, why are you complaining about Caulifla and Kale, man? You should be complaining about Goten and Trunks. They're like 7 and 8, and they transformed really easily. Maybe they did it with the back tingly thing." So here's the thing. First of all, it's not said that they did
wasn't invented yet.
Yeah, it's never said that they used the back tingly thing. I mean, if Toriyama really had this all thought out back in the Buu Saga, which is where Dragon Ball started to decline.
Ridiculous.
You
He had this planned out. Blasphemy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, so if he really had this planned out, Goten would have explained the back to the feeling to Gohan and he transformed. Because Gohan's like, "Whoa, what the crap are you Super Saiyan?" Goten's just like, "Oh no."
But it's still tingling feeling in my back. Felt weird.
So I mean, he would
around with it. My hair's golden now. I have blue eyes.
He would have explained it. He would have explained it to Gohan if he knew about it. So that's not really a good excuse. Secondly, while it is stated that
my balls are shining.
While it's stated that Goten and Trunks are they're not the same as Caulifla and Kale, and I'll explain why briefly.
Because they're males.
No, that's not why. So everyone who thinks you can hate people hating these characters are sexist, you're an idiot. You're bringing social justice warrior crap to Dragon Ball. This show comes from Japan. They don't care about that crap over there.
They just care whether or not you're Japanese.
Yep, entirely different standards. All right, they're kind of racist, but hey, their country has 0 terrorist attacks. Just say it. Moving on from that. So Goten and Trunks are
that
both
escalated quickly.
They're both known as prodigies, and the reason they're prodigies is simple. It's stated back in the Saiyan Saga, due to Gohan's insane potential at the time, that the child between an Earthling and a Saiyan is strong. Now, you can argue about the logistics of this, but it's established in the series very early on that if a Saiyan and an Earthling have a child, that child will be incredibly strong. And then, if you pay attention to the video I posted first in this series of videos where I talk about why the Universe 7 Saiyans were so weak, it's partially because they didn't breed properly. If a strong Saiyan were to breed with another strong Saiyan, they produce a strong offspring. This is why the royal family remained the strongest family in Vegeta, because they were strong and they continued to breed strong children.
Incest.
So the same thing.
Wait a second.
The same thing applies here. So it's stated that Vegeta is obviously very strong when he has sex with Bulma to have Trunks, and Goku is a mastered Super Saiyan when he had sex with Chi-Chi to have Goten. So that's part of the reason.
The mastered Super Saiyan.
That's part of the reason why they're so strong when they're born. Now, I'm not saying this legitimizes them becoming Super Saiyans early. I think it just legitimizes them having strong base forms. And I think if to criticize Caulifla and Kale, all I have to do is say that Goten and Trunks having Super Saiyan as children with no proper explanation is stupid, then I'll say it. It's pretty dumb. What do you think, Victor? Is it dumb?
I found all Dragon Ball dumb.
It's all dumb. So, don't come at us saying that we give Goten and Trunks a pass. They don't get a pass.
I haven't given a single character a pass in Dragon Ball, even my favorite.
Their show,
they all suck.
The show has been over for 20 years. So I'm sorry that Victory and I want a series to actually improve after having a 20-year break to make itself better. That's just us, I guess. We're the a-holes.
Look at you, Berserk.
It is in the name, I guess. So yeah, Caulifla and Kale cannot be excused for Goten and Trunks because Goten and Trunks weren't that good either. All right, you're not getting out of it that easily, and we're not going to give it to you that easily. So now that we've talked about the fact that those two were ultra prodigies, let's talk about Caulifla.
Wait, time out. Do you think Future Trunks and Super's ball hair is purple or blue?
I guess it'd be blue. I mean, I assume the carpet matches the drapes.
But like, here's the thing though, he could have dyed his hair blue.
He could have, but that's not the impression we're given. Actually, the manga like kind of sidesteps this whole problem by having Kid Trunks' hair be blue as well. So they just retconned their hair into being blue. They just skipped all the BS of it being confusing with his hair being purple. Just like it's blue the whole time.
Get purple to begin with? Black and blue don't make purple.
I mean, Boma's dad's hair is like gray, so I don't know what
That's
color.
not how that works.
No, I'm just saying. I don't know what hair color his hair was originally, but her mom is a blonde, so how her hair become blue to begin with? All right, there are too many questions, not enough answers. Toriyama doesn't care. Moving on. Caulifla. Caulifla is described as a prodigy, and this is like the real problem Super has on its own. Caulifla is just a symptom of the larger problem of the series existing in general, but that's another topic. So Caulifla is described as being a prodigy. That's how we're introduced to her. Kaba wants to go get his old fighting buddy to come fight with him. He's like, nah, bro, my leg's effed up. Go get my sister. She has great potential. He's like, sure, why not? So he goes to get her.
Their brother and sister?
No, not him. His friend Renzo is her brother.
Ah.
And he goes to him first, and he's like, nah, man, my leg's fucked up.
Okay.
So he goes to her. Anyway, so her being described as a prodigy is not an excuse, alright? Now, again, you can use Goten and Trunks as an example, because they were described as prodigies as well, and their Super Saiyan... Actually, no, their fused form, Gotenks, can become a Super Saiyan 3, so he progressed through them pretty quickly. Now, while he trained, it wasn't for very long, I'll admit that, but again, the Buu Saga is a mess. It's literally the worst arc of Z, and it's not going to excuse Super.
You just salted so many people.
Whatever, man. I mean, like, legitimately watch the Buu Saga. Or, no, actually read it. Read it from start to finish, and tell me you think that was a planned-out masterpiece, because clearly isn't. Toriyama's always writing by the seam of his pants, but it was no more apparent than that arc. But I don't want to get into that here. All I want to say is that Goten and Trunks, once again, do not excuse Caulifla. Alright, let's use a better example. The more well-written prodigy of the series, Gohan. Gohan is introduced as being incredibly strong.
No.
Stronger than...
Not initially. Not initially.
Well, when he fights... Talking about when he fights Raditz.
Okay.
So he's shown to be more powerful than his father due to his innate potential being the first, child prodigy between a Saiyan and Earth. That's what Gohan was. But despite this, Gohan didn't overtake everyone in power immediately.
Because he literally didn't train for that long. The man trained for a little bit, then bitched out of every single fight.
Well, he trained with Piccolo for a year, and then he was still too afraid to fight Saiyans. I'm gonna give my man a pass. He was 5 years old.
No.
And he was a child. He was an Earthling 5-year-old, not a Saiyan 5-year-old. So that man was not prepared to fight.
The man was trained by Namekian. He ran away from dinosaurs and inside a mid-over hurricane. You can't bitch out now.
I think it's entirely different. He kind of watched all of his friends, his dad's friends, be murdered in front of him. I think it's acceptable. Well, I mean, when he got mad, he was ready to throw down.
Then he got his ass beat.
Anyway, so despite him being a prodigy, Gohan was never outrageously strong for no reason. Gohan still had to work for his power. He trained with Piccolo. He trained with Krillin on the way to Namek. He got his potential unlocked on Namek, but that wasn't a problem because those guys' potential unlocked. Krillin did, and then he was also able to exploit the Saiyan bodies and get Zenkais. So Gohan was working for his power.
Brought up about potential.
What about potential?
Isn't there a comment later brought up about it for the Kale and Caulifla thing?
Well, I mean, like I said, Caulifla is stated to have massive potential.
Yeah, but potential doesn't necessarily dictate into how strong, whether or not you can become Super Saiyan or how strong that state would be. Hold on, let me speak up. So, potential doesn't necessarily dictate into how strong you'll be base form, nor into how strong you'll be when you're Super Saiyan. Potential is how far you can grow as a person or a character or in strength, or possibly in skill only. You may have great potential, but not in terms of strength, but in terms of battle strategy and skill. Doesn't necessarily make you weaker unless you're in Dragon Ball.
So that being said, Caulifla is also stated to not be a very inept fighter. She's basically stated to be a brawler, which in Dragon Ball doesn't matter if you're a brawler if you have the strength. But this is the excuse given to why Goku can body her despite being in his base form. That's a whole other thing. Power scaling makes no sense in this arc. I've said it several times. But basically, so she's someone with insane potential, but she's a brawler. She doesn't know how to fight. So basically, she should be Kid Gohan at this point, essentially, despite the fact she's probably like in her 20s or something. So she's someone with a lot of potential, but she hasn't tapped into it because she hasn't trained. And I'm going to assume she hasn't trained because if you train in martial arts, but you are still what someone would call a brawler, you're not doing a good job. So that being said, Caulifla would have to have not trained in martial arts very well.
No, I can defend this part. Sometimes you train in martial arts and you're like, brawling's a lot more fun in the fight. I understand what I need to do. I understand what I have to do, but I don't want to do it. That still makes you bad, but doesn't necessarily make you bad at martial arts because you still have that skill and potential. If you don't use it, then you're just a bad fighter.
Which is basically what they were calling her. So anyway, more to the point. Alright, her having potential doesn't mean that she'll climb through transformations easier. It does mean that she, has a greater likelihood of reaching those, transformations faster because there is like a strength requirement for them, but it doesn't mean they'll come to her any easier. Now, I can kind of excuse the tingly back thing. I mean, it's dumb, but I wouldn't call it an ASPL because the difference between this and ASPL, I call it a blur, which is poor writing. So an ASPL is something that happens with no explanation. That's what Super Saiyan Rage was. That was an ASPL. Trunks just pulled it right out of his ass.
No. It's called Super Saiyan 1, just with more anger.
And actually, Super Saiyan 1 had a lot of build-up in that arc. That's the difference here. There was a build-up to that transformation. And just like in the Cell Saga, there's build-up to Super Saiyan 2. The entire arc, the Saiyans were looking for a transformation beyond Super Saiyan.
Your boy Andrew 666 got decimated.
So even though he had a lot of potential, Gohan still had to train to achieve Super Saiyan. He still had to train the Master Super Saiyan, and only through a moment of intense rage was he able to achieve Super Saiyan 2. Now, compare that to Caulifla. She is shown Super Saiyan in a single day. She is apparently unable to, become angry through Kafla's taunts, which I guess makes sense. His argument game was weak, whatever.
Also, she knows he can just bitch smack the fuck out of him whenever she wants. So even if he were to insult her, she's like, there's really no point. I can one-shot you if I wanted to.
Anyway, so she has to use the tingly back thing, which is not an ASPL because it's explained. It's just a very poor explanation. And then the worst thing happens. She literally turns Super Saiyan 2 with the flick of the wrist. Now, the reason that this rubs people the wrong way is because you look at what they had to do in the Cell arc. They had to push beyond the Super Saiyan boundaries.
Andrew 16 had to die.
They had to master the transformation, which is my main contention of what she did. Super Saiyan as a form has to be mastered before someone can ascend. She doesn't master the form. She literally just ascends to the second level without any tact or preparation. And that's what rubs people the wrong way. Now, this could have been avoided easily because this is all writing problems. They gave them 48 hours to train. Who's to say they couldn't have given more than 48 hours to properly give them the time to transform and then ascend past that state? Who's to say they couldn't have used some kind of hyperbolic time chamber in their world? It's entirely possible, and it would have made sense. It would have been entirely plausible. It all comes down to writing, and the fact is that her transformations are not being written very well. All right, you shouldn't have to bend over backwards to accept these things. All right, so her being a prodigy does not excuse this, because my man Gohan is the OG prodigy in this series, and my man had to train.
Goku's the OG prodigy. Get out of here. Dragon Ball.
Was he even described as a prodigy in that series?
He looks like one.
Well, I guess he kind of... I guess, well, a lot of them are prodigies. That's another thing that we'll get into in another video. Prodigies. But anyway, that's what we have to say about Caulifla. So, we'll move on from her, specifically.
Jesus, this video is going to be long.
A little bit.
We need to work on this.
Well, let's finish it up. So the next thing is that you've probably seen Geekman's video on the topic where he talks about chi and like chi sensors and that explaining it. So I'm gonna get that out of here right now, very quickly. All right, that's headcanon. End of discussion, really. All right, it's never been established that the Dragon Ball universe uses chi
functions the same way as
it's never been stated that it uses it in the same manner in the same process. Now it's true they have similar concepts like the ki and things like that. But similar concepts does not equate to it being the same thing. And it's probably some kind of fallacy that I don't bother looking up right now. Alright? It's not a valid excuse. Until someone on the writing staff puts it in a guide, or Toriyama himself comes out and says it, or it's stated in series, that's your headcanon, you're making it up. Alright? If it really wasn't
how much sense it makes.
Alright, if it really was an emotional center, then why does she start feeling angry? She doesn't feel angry. The thing is, the Super Saiyan transformation causes intense rage and malicious feeling every time you transform until you master it. Which is another thing. Once you master it, that feeling disappears. Now, if they were saying that this was Kaba mastered the transformation, so he taught her how to master it without having to go through the initial rage, that would make a little bit of sense. But firstly, they don't say it.
Still be dumb.
And secondly, you saying this is the emotional center, so that completely contradicts it being the mastered form, which means there's no anger involved at all. So basically, it's dumb. It's headcanon. and it's not even a legitimate argument, and I can't believe someone actually proposed it. All right, if you have to do research on a series to make it make sense, that means it's poorly written. I don't know.
I had to do research, and so many other people, on Blaze Blue, mainly because the story isn't told in a way where you can understand it.
Blaze Blue was a game.
Well, that's true. Also, we have to go to the library, to the radio, to the wiki. We have to go through a lot of stuff for Blaze Blue to understand it. Basically, for Blaze Blue, the research we do isn't in concepts and terms. It's into the lore of the world itself. We don't have to go past that. We just have to sort it out. Dragon Ball, if you have to go through and find stuff about what ki means in real life and then be like, hey, it could mean like this here. I think the best example would be the film theory of whether or not we could do a Kamehameha in real life. Doesn't explain how they do it in there because it doesn't fit. It's not plasma energy. It's the personification of their ki, which is their... Isn't it considered to be their life energy in Dragon Ball?
Partially. Ki is supposed to be composed of 3 things in Dragon Ball, which is Yu-Ki, Gen-Ki, and something else, which basically translates to like life energy, courage, and something else that I can't bother to remember right now. But basically, I don't even think anyone's even brought up those concepts, which are confirmed to be part of Dragon Ball when talking about this whole back-tuning BS. So basically, that does legitimize it. It's headcanon. We're moving on to the final points in this video, so we can finally put an end to it. So another argument that a friend of mine told me is that they're learning from people who've used these transformations before, so that makes it easier to master. So let me just debunk that right now. Alright, so Gohan was taught how to go Super Saiyan by Goku, as was Trunks by Gohan. Future Gohan, of course. So, you know what Gohan had to go through with his father? He had to go through intense beatings, intense training. Alright? To use that Team 4-star scene, Goku nearly killed him with that Kamehameha that forced him to transform. Now, why would Goku go through all this to put his son in an intense scenario where he had to force the power out of him, where he had to become incredibly enraged, if he could have just told him this back-tuning? Why wouldn't he have gone through the easy route with his son? And why wouldn't Gohan done that with Trunks? Instead, they focus on trying to get them to go through the rage. Alright, because rage is how the transformation works, alright? Goten and Trunks broke that, and Super is just taking a dump on it. Alright, that's not the right route to do. What they should have done is kept with what we knew. Now, a lot of people hate on GT, and I understand it. I admit it has flaws. It's way better than Super, that's a fact, sorry. But people hate on it. However, in the movie about Goku Jr., he transforms through rage. Alright? A man 100 years in the future of Saiyans. Alright? So if you want to talk about evolution, he'd be way more evolved than Goten and Trunks, with that other guy talking about them being more evolved, even though that's not how evolution works. But anyway, he'd be way more evolved than them, but even he had to become enraged in order to transform. Now, I've seen the memes saying they don't even know what Super Saiyan is, and it's true, they don't know, but hey, they achieved it the right way.
Oh, yee.
Rip. So
I was paying absolute attention.
Learning from people who already know the forms, that doesn't make it any better, alright? I had no problem with her achieving Ultra Super Saiyan, because that's just you forcing more power than your body can handle. And that makes sense that someone who's a poor fighter would even try that against someone. So that made complete sense. I had no problem with that. Alright, I had no problem with Super Saiyan, because it's a crappy explanation. I'll say that 1,000 times over, but hey, it was explained. Alright, I have a problem with Super Saiyan 2, because of all the build-up that form had, and all the tribulations people had to go through to achieve it. To see her achieve it, literally, with no build-up, and just at random to deflect an attack from Kale, it made no sense. And then for Goku to go ahead and say, oh, hey, for her to say, hey, is it the tingly back thing? And for Goku to validate it and say something like that, terrible. Just, it's not proper right. Alright? If she was really being mentored by Goku, he would have tried to force her to be in a scenario where she needed that power. Instead, he just says, I guess what you're saying makes sense, and she achieves the form out of nowhere again during the Tournament of Power. It's not proper right. It's not good. It's not compelling. It doesn't endear me to these characters. It's just
Calm
them
down.
getting handed transformations out of nowhere. Alright? If you want to understand how bad this is, alright, the Tournament of Power, they had 48 hours to train. We had no idea when Kava went to talk to them. But let's give them the benefit of the doubt. So she had Super Saiyan for 2 days. In that 2 days, she managed to achieve Ultra Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2 by accident. The Ultra Super Saiyan, like I said, I'll give it a pass because it's just you forcing more power into your body like a poor fighter. It makes sense that she could do that.
It's just Trunks when Trunks buffed himself up and got his ass beat by Cell.
Alright, yeah, it's just a sign that you're a crappy fighter, so that makes sense. But then we move to tournament power, which is literally 48 minutes. 48 minutes. It's only 48 minutes. So she's had Super Saiyan for 2 days and 48 minutes. Not even 48 minutes because they're not done yet. Yet in that time span, she achieves Super Saiyan 2. Again, with full control over it. Full mastery. Without any of the drawbacks Gohan had in the Cell Saga where it made him bloodlusted and enraged like the original Super Saiyan form did. Alright? She just gets it. Mastered completely. And she uses it at her leisure. Alright, that's the problem here. Alright, it takes a dump on the Cell arc, which is arguably the best arc in Dragon Ball Z. Alright? Everything they went through with mastering the form, finding a form beyond that, and then mastering that form, it doesn't compute that she is able to do these things. And I talked a lot about Caulifla in this video. We're supposed to talk about Kale too. So let's get on Kale real quick.
Broly.
Yeah, that's another thing. Alright, so I'll admit, people were saying people don't like these characters because they're female. You're an idiot. Get out of my fandom. Next, people hate these characters because they're poorly written. They're very Suish. And Kale is the worst example of this. Alright, what's Kale's personality? She's shot. What's her personality when she's transformed? She's Broly. Do people like Broly? No. Broly's a crappy character.
No, people love Broly.
So
please fix yourself. You know the fandom loves Broly for no reason.
No, I know there's a section of the fandom that loves Broly, and they're called Broly Taurus for a reason. Alright? Broly had no character, and Kale has less character than her. Where are Kale's defining features? Why does she fight? Because she wants to be with her sis. Why does she want to be with her? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. Do the writers know? I don't know.
Smash.
Yeah, she didn't even do that, though. Alright? It's poorly conceived, it's poorly thought out. It doesn't make any sense. Alright, why does Caulifla think that Kale has a lot of potential? We're never shown why.
She has a lot of potential.
Alright.
That's really probably the only reason why.
Alright, she has no reason to believe that. Alright, Kale is Caulifla's special student, but why? As far as we know, her base form is incredibly weak. It's shown to be incredibly weak throughout the series. There's never a moment where, like Gohan, where she, becomes enraged and her base form shows true strength. That never happens with her. Her base form is weak throughout the series. The only time she's strong is when she becomes Broly. Alright, and Broly sucks. Alright, Broly's transformation is not cool.
Maximumer!
Alright, it's lame, and it's only good when you make fun of it. The only good version of the transformation exists in a fan-made manga. That's how bad it is.
No, Team 4-Star.
Well, they didn't make the transformation better, they just made Broly better.
They made Broly so much better.
Alright, so, yeah, Kale, that's why people don't like Kale. Alright, now my problem with Kale is the same thing. Alright, they make a joke of mastering Super Saiyan. Now, Kale gains full control of her Berserker form through seeing Caulifla be in danger. Now, I was kind of okay with this because it showed some character motivation. We know she cares about Caulifla, so it makes sense
Incest.
It's not incest.
It is.
It's not.
Listen, this is how the world works. When somebody looks at another person and like, I'm worried about them, that person wants to smash that other person.
That doesn't make it incest, though.
Well, she looked at her sister and was like, I worry about them.
They're not actually
Want
sisters.
to smash.
They're not actually sisters. This comes from the Japanese perception of where they refer to their gang leader as a family member.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, so they're not. Okay, why'd you make me explain that?
Somebody
Moving on.
out there didn't get it.
Okay, moving on. My point is, it kind of made sense that seeing her in that predicament kind of changed her mindset. Because I understand that in fighting, it's not all about your body. It could be a state of mind. So it makes sense that in the right state of mind, she can control her transformation. Except, at the same time, that's not really how we're shown Super Saiyan transformations work. Alright, you have to overcome your state of mind. Goku had to overcome the malicious feeling to really achieve the full power Super Saiyan had to offer. As did Gohan, Vegeta, etc. Alright, she doesn't do that with her Berserker form or Legendary Super Saiyan form, or whatever you want to call it. Alright, all she does is see her sister in danger, and she achieves a weaker form, and then she achieves the real thing with full control because reasons. Alright, and again, realize that she hasn't used this form till the first time, which could have been an entire 2 days ago. And she uses it once here, and then she uses it a second time, and then boom! A total of 3 times using it, and she's mastered it. Alright, it doesn't make any sense at all. Alright, I'll give the writers some credit, though, because the next time she uses the form, she loses control again. And that's good. She shouldn't have gained as easy control as she did in the first place. But then she gains control of it again, and she makes it even stronger. Alright, it's ridiculous how easily...
Just jam that steroids right into your vagina.
It's just ridiculous how easily the mastery of this form is coming. She gained 3 Super Saiyan transformations in the span of 48 minutes. And not even that, because less time than that has passed. Alright, and that's the problem with Kale. And we are really riding it on time, so I'm going to get on Kafla real quick.
If we can make ads, we could have a lot of ads.
Yeah, we're not even halfway there yet. So,
I know. Don't even remind me.
Alright, so what do you call it? Let's get on Kefla real quick. Alright, so it's stated during the Battle of God Saga, you notice a lot of things stated in the Battle of God Saga don't really apply, that Super Saiyan God is a better option to fight Beerus than Goku and Vegeta fused. That means that the boost from Super Saiyan God should be higher than the boost from the Potara. Alright, I never agreed with this. I've always thought that was kind of dumb, but that's what they said. So that's the precedent we're supposed to accept. So that means, in every arc, Vegito should be weaker than Super Saiyan God Goku, unless Vegito uses Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue himself. That's how that should work. So that means that Kale and Caulifla, two people who are weaker than Goku and Vegeta, highballed as strong as them, should also be weaker than Super Saiyan God. Now, people give an excuse that Goku is weakened. That's not really a suitable excuse, alright? The difference we're talking about is Super Saiyan 3 Vegito, weaker than Super Saiyan God. That's a really big difference, alright? You're telling me he's so weakened that his Super Saiyan God form falls below a base fused Saiyan? That's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm coming back.
Alright, that's dumb. Alright, next, it's also stated by Whis that Vegeta will never reach Goku's level by training. Yet, all these people are reaching that level by training.
No, he won't reach it by training. He has to stop thinking as much.
That's a whole other thing.
I watched that scene.
That's a whole other thing. That's a different scene. That's when they're training with Goku and Whis. What I'm talking about is when Vegeta is trying to catch up to Goku on his own, and then Whis is like, hey, you trained, that you've gotten stronger, but you'll never reach Goku's level with the kind of training that you do. Implying that the only way to reach this level of strength is by training with an angel. But no one has done that in the series, yet they've all caught up. Alright, so it doesn't make any sense. Alright, so Super Saiyan God Goku should have destroyed if we follow the premise that, what do you call it? Super Saiyan God is a greater boost than the Potara. Now, I never believed that, so this scene didn't, mess with me too badly. But I'm just saying, the series established this. A lot of people noticed that. I never agreed with it, but they did, and so this is a contradiction to that. So people saying that she's too strong, those people are right, because based off what we were told, they should have, been that strong. Now, Victory hasn't seen the scene himself, but they were transformed before they fused, but their fusion was in base form, so I've always just taken it that they powered down the base and then fused.
That's dumb.
Well, yeah, that's what. But so people have said that maybe because they were transforming, they fused, that made the fusion even stronger. Now I'm just gonna say that's headcanon because we didn't see them fuse, so I'm just gonna assume they're in the base form because their fuse state was in their base form. As you can see, every transformation in the series, when people fuse, they're in that state when they're fused. Base Vegeta and base Goku fuse. Vegeta is in his base form; he has to transform. More recently, in this same series with Merge Zamasu, Goku Black was in his Super Saiyan form. Zamasu doesn't have one. When they fused, he was in his Super Saiyan form. That's how it works. So because they were in a Super Saiyan form as Kefla, that means they fused in base form. So your argument that, hey, their Super Saiyan forms are strong, so maybe they multiply together, nope, doesn't work. It's dumb. And for the record, I actually like Kefla way more than Caulifla and Kale. I think she's way better than either of them individually. It's a shame that they defused because now we're stuck with them again.
You were complaining about this to me earlier.
Hey, I'm just saying. So, yeah, I think we've addressed literally every point. Oh, yeah, the final point is that all this is happening because plot.
You're not
okay,
wrong.
that just means that your plot's dumb.
You're not wrong. It doesn't change anything, but you're not wrong.
I'm just saying that's not an excuse. Alright? So it's saying you're happy because plot. You know what that translates to me? It's happening because of bad writing. Alright, so I'd like to thank you guys for sticking with us to this video.
Ignore the paper.
I tried to include as many facts as I could, as usual. I'm going to consider this more of a rant than anything else. We responded to several different people's viewpoints, but no one specifically, so I'm not going to title it a debunk.
You want to have a rant section? We'll play this now.
You guys heard it here first. This is the first in the series of rants. Maybe I'll move that old comic book review over here, because that one was a rant too. But yeah, thank you guys for sticking with us. I really...
we should move that Power Rangers movie review over here.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of
basically me ranting on this.
I don't know. We'll talk about it off.
Remember that 1 2-hour video?
We'll get on that in the future. So
we're never getting on
now
that.
It's time for the outro. All right, so this is this is TAF108 alongside Victory. You should have done. Oh, you're doing the X-Men thing?
Yeah.
All right, good. Yeah, keep doing that. I'll just keep talking.
I want to pull it off, but I don't want to get hit by copyright.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Lord knows
Screw
they
you
hate
guys and your copyright. This is fair use. Anyway, so we'd like to thank everyone for watching. Remember to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. You can leave a dislike if you want, but if you leave a dislike, you better hit the comment section and debate me right now. All right?
He wants to throw it down.
Yeah,
he wants to throw it down verbally.
I'm ready. Like, I am prepared. I will take on legitimately anyone. If you guys really want to hear our opinions on like the chi thing, maybe we'll watch the whole video and respond to it point by point and debunk.
I don't want to.
He doesn't want to, but if enough people want us to, we will do it. And I haven't watched either of Seth's videos on the subject. I don't really value his opinion very much. No offense, but if you guys want us to debunk of that, maybe we will. We will listen to you guys. That we are your slaves. We will do what you want.
What were we gonna do at the 500 subs? We were gonna watch. What was it?
We'll watch Runaways at 500 subs. Also, we're still doing that podcast at 100. We're almost there. We're almost at 70.
We're at 64 right now.
Yeah, so
we got a friend of sub.
We're really glad to be getting there, and that brings us to a good point. Subscribe if you're new. We just explained why you should. Podcast at 100.
Listen, we say we're gonna do a podcast at 100. Does not explicitly mean within a month of 100. It may take us some time to get our shit together so we can actually do the podcast.
But hey, it'll happen once we get 100.
Yeah.
And like we said, we'll watch Runaways at 500. I just watched the first episode. Oh my god. I can't even. I don't want to live anymore. Alright, you know?
Alright, so
I thought watching Dragon Ball Super was bad.
I saw the first half of the episodes of Runaways, and I was like, I'm done. I can't. I gotta wait for my bro to come here. I was like, I made him watch it with me. The second episode started. He's like, hey, listen, we should just bail right now. I'm like, absolutely. So, context. He introduced me to Runaways when we were in middle school and stuff. We absolutely loved it. We didn't have access to we had access to all of them, but we didn't have access to many other comics, so we just reread Runaways like 6 times for each volume. So we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've said this in a few comments I made about how the current 2017 Runaways is like ruining our childhood. It's because Runaways is like kind of the first like comic we had where we got to read the entire series. You know, we've got our hands on like different comics before, but those are just single issues. This is an entire series where we got to read about the characters, watch them grow, and you know, really go through their saga and see everything that befell all those characters. And it was even happening at a time where like we were getting more Runaways issues throughout the years, so it was really like a learning curve. And so to see a series just take a dump on that book, both this TV show and the comic, it's just a bad year for Runaways, man.
That year and stuff for general for us to watch.
So yeah, I'm hoping 2018 will be a bit more hype. I mean, we had Thor Ragnarok to kind of lead us into that year, so I think.
Don't you mean Guardians of the Galaxy 3? The one with Thor.
Oh yeah, we do watch Justice League though. All right, yeah, we're going off topic again. Anyway, so like, subscribe, favorite if you want to see this rant several times.
Comment.
Yeah, comment. If you disagree, again, hit the dislike button and debate me personally. I wouldn't even call him Victory. It'll just be me and you. I guarantee. I will be in the comment section.
He will be.
I'll be there.
If you guys ever want to speak to me, specifically call me out, because I don't roam around the comment section.
Yeah, I'm the guy.
Taft's got you guys' back. He checks on you guys regularly. He's there. I'm not. If you guys want to explicitly speak to me, call me out. Taft will inform me, and I'll respond.
And that's basically how we'll do it. So like I said, comment, like, subscribe, favorite. Share if you think other people want it. Actually, share it just because there's a lot of misinformation about this. All right? Now, we're not saying that you can't like Caulifla and Kale. Well, we are right, but we're saying you can like Caulifla and Kale. All right, you can accept the vaccine lead explanation, but you have to accept that this contradicts a lot of the previous series. It's not very smart. It's not very well written, and a lot of stuff people are saying is just plain headcanon. Now, I'll agree, Caulifla and Kale are probably stronger than people give them credit for. And I will say that anyone who denies that is probably just, it's because they don't like them. But they are entitled to not like them. They shouldn't downplay them, but can you really blame them? These characters kind of suck. And we're not downplaying them at all. We're just saying that, these are the facts. And we're not denying their strength. We're just saying their strength might be a little stupid. And I'm not even saying I disagree with their strength necessarily. I understand it's necessary for the narrative of Dragon Ball that the next opponents have to be stronger than the last ones. We're just saying don't take a dump on the main staple of the series, alright? A lot of people describe Goku turning Super Saiyan as like the moment they really got into Dragon Ball Z. So to take the most epic moment of the franchise and then to continue to degrade it throughout the series.
Oh, I got an example. Like the end of part 1 of JoJo, when Jonathan kills Theo, he's holding his head in his hand and the chip explodes and we're all like, that's such a good scene. And then in part 3, when they're like, yeah, you know that coffin Arena was in with the babies? Dio was in that. She wasn't there. Dio's still alive. He took Jonathan's body. That completely ruined the scene. Don't get me wrong. That's when Stan's introduced and this and JoJo got super hyped. But, like, still, that retcon was terrible and it sucked.
And the same applies here. So we've ranted for far too long. I kind of took the lead on this one, so I'll take the lead in ending it. We'll catch you guys later. I hope you have enjoyed the rest of your day. And you enjoy being blessed by these God-given facts.